All right, good morning. Welcome to Sky Yoga. I'm Stephanie. Need to admit one more person. And let's see. Okay. This will be a typical session, meaning we start with a little breath control, a warm up, some conditioning for the core, the low back, and the upper body. And then in the second half, we'll do my hip flow plus a new move in the hip flow. So a little modification on my regular hip routine. So we'll start with pranayama, intentional breathing. Find a comfortable way to sit. It helps to elevate your hips. That's why I'm sitting on a bolster. You can sit on a rolled up blanket or towel. So hips above the knees if possible. And if you always sit the same way, consider switching around your legs and sit the other way. Lift up your spine, lift your chest, relax your shoulders down, and tuck your chin slightly so that you're looking downward. And maybe as you relax, you'll be able to close your eyes. So once you've got your posture adjusted, begin to focus on your breath. Allow your breath to get deeper and slower by counting your inhale and making your exhale one count longer. That extended exhale has a calming effect on the nervous system. And now we'll do some invigorating cleansing breaths. So as you inhale, make it the biggest inhale you can, expanding your whole torso like a barrel, chest and belly. And then when you exhale, open your mouth and squeeze your abs, exhaling with some force. Wonderful. Now we'll start stretching. Drop your chin down to your chest. You can just let your head hang, or you can gently sway side to side. Feel the neck stretching. And then widen that movement, rolling your chin from shoulder to shoulder in a big half circle. And if that's going well, you can try the full circle. If you have any pain in the full circle, go back to the half circle. And then switch direction. You may be able to do it one way and not the other. And then sit up tall again. And we'll do neck and shoulder stretches. So sitting up tall, bring your thumbs up your back and squeeze your elbows backwards, opening up the chest and shoulders. Maybe you can slide your hands over and grab your elbows. And then relax your hands. We're going to grab the left wrist with the right hand. Try to keep your shoulders and torso upright. And then drop your head to the right, feeling the stretch across the left shoulder. Inhale up, wiggle the shoulders a bit, and we'll go the other way. So left hand grabs right wrist, and head goes to the left. And then up again, and we'll roll the shoulders out. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And then change direction, still inhaling up and exhaling down. And then open the arms wide, spread the fingers. Inhale up high. And exhale down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. One more like that. And this time we'll inhale up high, clasp the hands together with fingers intertwined, and flip your palms up to the ceiling. And just pause here, gently twist your torso a bit. Look under your armpit. And then we'll drop one hand to the floor and side bend, pulling the top shoulder back so that your chest faces forward. Keep the hips on the floor. Your bottom hand can help you press your hips into the floor. Breathe. And then we'll make circles with the extended arm. Big breaths, big circles. And change direction. And then inhale, both arms up high again, filling the lungs, and then on an exhale, drop to the other side, pulling the top shoulder back and pressing the hips into the floor. And big circles. And change direction. And then sit back up again, arms open wide. Press your backs of your hands together behind you. Feel the stretch in your upper arms. Thumbs are up. Puff out your chest. Breathe. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then big hug, pulling the shoulders forward. And release. We'll come down to hands and knees now. And do our cat and cow rolls. So from a solid tabletop, if you need protection under your knees, you can use a folded towel. That can work under your wrists as well. So from a solid tabletop, we'll exhale, arching the back up, dropping the head. Pause here. You might want to wiggle your hips a little bit. Feel the space opening up in your spinal column. And then push back, resting on your heels in a modified child's pose. Stretch your arms out. Exhale fully. And then bending your elbows, pull forward, lifting your head, lifting your hips. into cow pose. Good, and we'll just keep rolling through that at your own pace. Exhale back into cat. Inhale forward into cow, limbering up your spine, stretching your abs and arms. And then come back to your tabletop, wide your hips side to side, looking over your shoulders. Nice, and now we'll do thread the needle, shoulder stretch. Inhale your right arm high, and exhale to the floor. Rest on your shoulder and head. Maybe you need a prop, a pillow under your shoulder or head. Bring your hands palm to palm and slide your top hand out. Reach, reach, reach. Try to get your top elbow over your bottom wrist. And then on an exhale, wrap that left arm around behind you. And roll your right forearm along the floor. We'll unwind the top arm, pressing your palm on the floor to push up, and inhale the right arm high. Exhale it down. Other side now, inhale the left arm. Exhale to the floor. Hands palm to palm, and then the right hand slides out. Reach, reach, reach. And exhale over your back. And roll your left arm on the floor. And then unwind. Press up. Inhale. Exhale down. And now we'll do kickstand for the legs. So from a tabletop, we'll extend the right leg back, flex your foot, and then swing it out to your side. And ease back, resting on your heels. And then relax your extended leg and reach toward your ankle. Your head can hang here if that's comfortable. You can rest it on a block or a pillow. Feel the stretch primarily in the hamstring right now. And then if you can reach your toes, flip your toes up and grab and pull towards your face, relaxing your ankle, and you'll get more of a calf stretch. If you can't reach your toes, that's fine. Just keep reaching for your ankle. Release and come back up to tabletop. Maybe wag your hips if you need that. And we'll do the other leg. So extending the left leg straight back with a flexed foot. Swing it out to the side. And sit back, resting your elbows and forearms. And of course, if you can't touch the mat easily, you can rest your elbows and forearms on a prop. Reach out toward your ankle, relax your leg. And then try reaching for your toes. You may be able to reach them on one side and not the other. If you have your toes, relax your ankle, pulling and stretching your calf. And release to come back up to tabletop for the best part of the warm-up drunken cow. So if you always go one particular way in drunken cow, try going the opposite way from time to time, just to shake things up. So we're just gonna swirl around in a big circle, pushing the hips down low, pushing the shoulders way forward, and checking in with your body. Are there any places that are extra sore or tight that need your attention today? And when you're feeling pretty loose going one way, change direction. You may find different trouble spots going this way. And then we're going to push back into child's pose. Big toes touch, knees wide, stretching the arms forward. Feel the stretch in your inner thighs as your hips press downward. And then coming back up, bring your knees back so that your thighs are straight up and down. And we'll swing forward into up dog. This is an ab stretch. If it's hard on your low back, come down to your elbows for Sphinx. Either way, gently sway your torso and stretch your abs before we do ab conditioning. All right, let us come back up to hands and knees to a tabletop, supporting your knees or wrists as needed. Thighs are straight up and down, arms are straight up and down. We're going to start with getting ourselves positioned. We're going to start with pointer pose. So kick back your left leg, flexing your foot, and bringing your hips level. The left hip has a tendency to want to be high. Bring it down low. Feel your core activate to do that, to hold it in place, and then lift your right arm. And breathe. To protect your neck during this series, you might want to look downward instead of upward. And now bend at the knee, bringing your foot in and reach for it. If you can, lift your knee, stretch your quad. And come on down. Maybe widen your hips in between moves. And now we'll extend the right leg, level hips, left arm, and breathe. And then bending at the knee, reach for your foot. Lift high if you can. And release. Nice time for a tail wag or maybe a water break. Moving on, now we'll do pendulum. So starting in our basic pointer pose, left leg, level hips, right arm. We'll inhale and swing both limbs to the side and exhale them back to center. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, 3, in, 4, last one, center, and down. Other side, right leg, level hips, left arm. Inhale to the side, exhale back to center. Inhale, exhale, inhale. 3, breathe in. 4, one more, center, and down. Good job. Wag those hips. Whew. And we'll do boxes next. So if you find boxes challenging, we're going to be using pointer pose, one leg up, one arm up. I'd rather have you do good form, straight limb with one limb than sloppy form with both. So if it gets too challenging, just put one limb down. You can extend the left leg, right arm, and make boxes. So each limb moves out, not very far, maybe about a foot, and then down, and then in, and then up. That's one box. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, 2, out, down, in, 3, out, down, in, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 more, 9, and 10. Good job. Keep your hips a wag, and we'll do the other side. So right leg, level hips, left arm, drawing boxes. Out, down, in, and up. Out, down, in, up. 2, out, down, in. 3, 4, 5, halfway there. 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. Good job. Let's take a rest pose. You can either push back into child's for your back, or you can swing forward into an ab stretch. Our last item in the pointer series is Firebird, which is a crunch. If you're tired of being on your hands and knees, you can just flip over on your back and do classic bicycles throughout. Okay, very similar move. So if you're doing Firebird with me, we're going to extend left leg, right arm. On the exhale, bring your elbow to knee. And on the inhale, reach long. Reach. 3, 4, 5. Let's speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. Other side, right leg, left arm, nice and slow. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Reach. Exhale. 3, 4, 5. Speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. Let's come down to the belly. Lift up your feet. Maybe you want to swirl them around for a moment. This is nice relief for the low back. And then we're going to try to grab both our feet for bow pose. You can feel the stretch in your quads already. Just relax, using the weight of your arms to pull your feet towards you and stretch your quads. And then try lifting your torso and knees off the floor to intensify that quad stretch. If it's too much on your low back, come back down. And then release your feet and bring your arms up into Sphinx pose with your elbows directly under your shoulders. You can clasp your hands or leave your forearms parallel. We're going to lift up on the balls of the feet into low plank. Keep your hips in line with shoulders and ankles and breathe. Nice, and release down. And if you have low back pain or discomfort, just roll your lower legs around. And next, bring your legs down. They'll be roughly parallel, not splayed out. Bring your legs down and bring your hands out to the widest part of your chest so that your forearms are straight up and down and your elbows are in the air like cricket legs. And we're going to inhale up, straight arms, insides of your elbows face the front. This is harder if you lift your knees off the mat, easier if you leave your knees on the mat, and lower down. Inhale up, exhale, release. Maybe I've got the breath reversed, I don't know. That's 3. That's 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Last one, good job. And now open the legs, knees wide, big toes touch. Reach forward, stretch your arms, and then bring your palms to the back of your neck for a tricep stretch. And release. We'll come back up to tabletop. And do high plank. All right, so in high plank, the arms stay straight up and down, and we extend both legs, resting on the balls of the feet, keeping the hips in line with shoulders and ankles. Breathe. Drop your knees for a quick rest. And come back up into your high plank. We'll now, if high plank is difficult for you, do it again, right? Challenge yourself to stay up for a certain number of breaths. If you're ready to add on to high plank, come into your high plank and then lift your right foot, not very high. Breathe. Drop it. Take a breath. Lift your other foot. Drop that foot, drop those knees, quick rest. Nice. And we'll stretch our forearms before coming into side plank. So sit back on your heels and flip your palms outward. Bring them down to the mat so that your fingertips are pointing straight at your knees, and feel the stretch throughout the forearm and wrists. You may like to add a small circle here, circling your body. Especially if this is intense for you, I find the circles help it be less intense. And then sit back and shake it out. And we'll do side plank. So there's 2 versions of side plank. The easier version is supported. So from a tabletop position, your right side is supporting, so your right hand comes under your face. Your right knee stays on the ground. Your left leg extends, and your left arm comes in the air. You can see my foot moved out a bit behind me at an angle for support. So this is supported side plank. If you get here and you find this is easy, try lifting your leg. The more challenging version of side plank starts from high plank. You still center your right hand, You pivot, stacking your feet, and now only your arm is supporting you. And if you find this easy, you can try lifting one leg. So come into your chosen version of side plank, supported or not, and try to hold it for 3 breaths. Come down with control, protecting elbows and knees. And then we'll do the other side. So starting either from tabletop or from high plank, center your left hand this time, raise your right arm, and breathe. And come down with control. Don't just drop. Good job. That was the upper body conditioning. Let's come down to the belly for the low back. So all the way down, take a moment to catch your breath. Maybe you need some water. And we'll start by just inhaling the torso up and exhaling down. Your hands can be resting here or at your sides. Inhale up, exhale 2. In 3, inhale 4, in 5, halfway there, inhale 6, in 7, inhale 8, in 9, last one, and down. Throughout this series, you'll find your glutes trying to do all the work. Try to focus the work on your low back and your abs. That's why putting your hands on your back can really help you visualize where the effort is coming from. And now you can either do the low body by itself or in tandem with the upper body. So our focus for the low body is keeping legs straight and getting knees off the floor. Inhale up and exhale, release. Inhale 2, inhale 3, in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For this last one, stay up, breathe, 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 and release. One more low back exercise, swimming. So arms are out in front of you. Tops of your feet are on something that doesn't hurt. And you might want to put your towel down there under your feet. We're going to lift one arm and the opposite leg, and then switch. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Good job. Let's push back into child's pose. Knees wide, big toes touch, arms stretch. And you have the option to bring your palms to the back of your neck. And now we flip around to the back side for one more core conditioning exercise. Boat pose. If boat pose is difficult for you, have a prop under your feet so that you can lift and rest. If you're stronger, you're going to find your balance on your butt and then lift your shins so they're parallel to the floor. You can stay here, or you can join me as I row the boat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last 1. Good job. You made it through conditioning. Let's come down to the back and do some stretches. So start by gently hugging your knees and rocking side to side. And then placing your hands on your kneecaps, we're going to guide them in big circles. Let your arms do the work. So your arms pull in, your arms push out. And you feel your low back rolling against the floor. And change direction. Good. Now pull the knees in and lift the feet so that the soles of your feet are facing the ceiling. Pull them wide apart. You can just pause here and then begin to slowly rock side to side. Your goal is to get the thigh to the floor and come back up again. It takes balance, it takes core strength, and all the while you're massaging your back. And then we're going to lift the legs straight up, as straight as you can get them. And just pause here, legs up the wall, reach up toward your toes. Ooh, maybe you can touch them. And then grab one leg, probably on the calf, and release the other one. And just pull the leg that you're holding towards you, trying to keep it straight. Maybe you need to grab your gear, whatever you're wearing. And just give it a good stretch, pulling towards your face. The other leg can be relaxed. You can bring your knee up if that's more comfortable for you. And then slowly relax the extended leg and bring the other one up. And we're just pulling it towards us, feeling the stretch throughout hamstrings and calf. Maybe extending your grip, stretching your arms towards your ankle. And then release that leg down as well. And now we're going to splay open your knees and bring the soles of your feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined cobbler's pose. And it might feel nice to gently rock your pelvis here. Feeling the stretch in the inner thighs. And then bring the feet to the floor again and roll over to one side and push up to seated. We'll come back to Baddha Konasana, this time seated. So soles of your feet together, pulling them in close to your body, pressing your knees away. Feel the stretch in the inner thighs. You can intensify and deepen that a bit by bringing your thumbs to the balls of your feet and opening out your balls of the feet so that the soles are like pages in a book. Breathe. Good. And then bring the knees up. Place your hands behind you. Open your feet out wide. We're going to lift the pelvis off the floor. Bring your upper body forward into a low squat. And just sit here and rock. Just gently swing your pelvis, looking over your shoulders. Stretching inner thighs. Relax everything in your pelvis and low back. And maybe you're able to bring your knuckles together for a little more stretch. All right, and now we're going to come into the hip flow, which begins from tabletop. Sorry for my sniffles, got some allergies going on. So starting from tabletop, we're not going to be here long, so you may not want your towel or blanket in the way. So from tabletop, come up on the balls of your feet. We're going to lift into down dog. So take your time setting up your down dog. We're looking for a triangle shape. So you've got one line from hands to hips and another line from hips to heels. And let's pause here and pedal or walk your dog. Bending your knees, pushing one heel at a time downward to stretch your calves, and pushing your head down between your elbows, getting that long straight line that we practiced last week on the back of the chair. And then push back, dropping your weight down into your heels. And we're going to lift the left leg high, pausing here in three-legged dog. Bring your foot down to your rear end and lift your left knee so that your hips are opening out to the side. It helps me to look under the left armpit here and feel that opening. And now this is where things change up. We're going to bring your left foot up into a lunge position. So we're not doing pigeon. We're doing a lunge. Drop your back knee, flatten your back foot. We're going to come down into dragon. So for dragon, you take your left arm inside your left leg, behind your left leg, and outside your left foot. So I'll show you that again, it's confusing. So your left hand is inside your left foot, and then you bring it behind your left ankle, and it comes to rest outside your left foot. And then you lean your body forward, stretching your right hip in dragon. Now this may be really uncomfortable for you, so you may have to back out of it. That's fine. You may be able to play with lowering your right elbow down, and a prop can help with that. The further down you get, the further you will be stretching your right hip flexor. So find a way to relax into dragon. And now we'll very carefully bring the left hand in again. I want you to be super careful because you can tear a right groin muscle if you move through this too quickly. I'm going to straighten the left leg and sit back on the right heel for a runner's stretch. So you're grabbing your left foot in your left hand and feeling the stretch in your calf. And then we'll come back nice and slow into tabletop and do the other side, just the three-legged dog and the dragon. So from your tabletop on the balls of your feet, lift up into down dog. Pushing your head down between your elbows, dropping your heels down toward the floor. Looking for two lines, a triangle, if you include the floor. It might feel nice to swing forward into plank or up dog and then push back into down dog like that. Many ways of getting into down dog. And I'm actually going to switch sides so you can see my right leg lift. So from down dog, lifting the right leg high. Pause here, three-legged dog. And then bring your right foot to your butt and lift your right knee, opening up your hips. Looking under your right arm. And then bring your right foot to the mat for a lunge. So this is quite different from our usual pigeon in the hip flow. So pause here in your lunge. And then we're going to take the right arm inside the right leg, behind the right leg, and outside the right foot. Drop your back knee, drop your back foot. And we're here in this awkward pretzel pose for dragon. And again, lean your hip into it. You should be feeling a stretch in the front of your left hip. And if you're able, you might be able to come down, resting your left elbow on the floor or a prop, and intensifying that stretch a bit more. So find whatever position you're able to relax into. Stretching the hip, relax your hip and pelvis. And then bring your right arm inside again, straighten your arms, and we're going to come back into that runner's lunge. So you come back and sit on your left foot and stretch your right leg. So you're reaching for your toes, your ankle, whatever you can reach. Stretching your calf. Sitting quite comfortably on your back foot maybe, or maybe you need a blanket on top of your left foot. And release. And we'll come back to seated and do some gentle stretches for the hips. So hands behind and feet in front. We'll do some windshield wipers. So resting your weight on your arms, we're just rolling the knees side to side. You need your feet very wide for this so that each knee has room to come all the way down without touching the heel. They might get close, but they don't touch. Just gently stretching the hips. And now next time that both your knees are facing left, we're going to bring your right hand around in front of your left knee and your left hand to meet it. And we're just going to relax down, resting your head on your forearms or your stacked fists. And what you feel is your body weight and gravity pressing your left hip into the floor, stretching your left hip out like a rolling pin, flattening out the dough. Breathe. And then straighten the arms. Your right arm comes back behind you. We'll do a couple of those windshield wiper swipes, side to side. Knees as far down as they'll go. Got a little guest star here. And then when your knees are both pointing right, bring your hands in front of your right knee. You can rest your head on a prop, on your forearms, on your stacked fists. And now feel your body acting like a rolling pin, stretching your right hip into the earth. And then straightening the arms, bringing your left arm back behind you. We'll do a couple more swipes to finish that off. And then come to sit cross-legged. And we'll do a similar exercise, meaning that our posture is similar, hands behind you for support. We're going to roll the knees forward as the hips lift up. So pressing the knees to the earth, lifting the hips off the earth. You have the option to drop your head. Don't do it if it makes you dizzy. So lift the hips up high. Use your glutes, squeeze, stretch your quads. Breathe. Lower down with control. And now bring your upper body forward, resting on your forearms or your pillow. So in the first iteration, we felt the fronts of the hips stretching. Now we're going to feel the backs of the hips stretching. So let your upper body hang forward. Feel the stretch in your outer hips. And then straightening your arms, come back up, and we have to do this the weird way. So cross your legs the way you don't normally cross your legs. It's going to feel awkward. Place your hands behind you. And again, we're going to roll the knees forward, lifting the hips up high. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. And you have the option to drop your head. Lift your hips. Feel the stretch in your quads. Press the glutes up high. Lower your pelvis back down with control. And then bring your upper body forward. Again, resting on forearms, bolster, what have you. Let your head hang. And feel the stretch move around to the outer hips. And then sit back up again. Good. Let's come down to the back for a stretch or two before Shavasana. All right, so coming down to the back, we'll start with that basic knee hug. Try to keep your feet side by side. A little rock here would probably feel good. And then lift your knees so that they're directly above your hips in a straight line. Your feet are just dangling. Arms tee out to the sides. And we're going to drop the knees to the right for knee down twist, aka John's pose. And then place your right hand on top of your left knee, pulling them both downward. And then look away from your knees over your left shoulder. Breathe. We're feeling a stretch in the outer left hip, as well as a gentle twist throughout the back. Roll your head back to center, and before you lift up your knees, make sure to firm up your abs. Protect your back as you roll your knees back up to center and give them a hug. So one of my mottos in yoga class is anytime you twist your back, give it a chance to untwist. That's what we're doing right now. And again, knees directly over the hips, arms teed out to your sides. The knees drop to the left this time. Place your left hand on top of them and look away from them over your right shoulder. Gentle twist throughout the back, gentle stretch in the right hip. Breathe. Head to center, firm engaged abs, knees to center, hug and rock. And now extend your legs down below, hands to your sides, and you're ready for Shavasana. Let your ankles relax outward. If this is hard on your low back, lift your knees, spread your feet, and then let your knees collapse inward for a little support for your low back. And in either position, we're going to relax from head to toe. So relax your scalp and forehead. Close your eyes and let them be soft and unfocused. Relax your jaw and your tongue. Let your whole face be soft. Relax your neck and your throat inside your neck. Let your shoulders sink back into the mat. And let that softness flow down your arms, upper arms, elbows, forearms, soft open palms to the tips of your fingers. Your arms are relaxed. Let your rib cage sink downward. Let your navel sink down towards your spine. Let your pelvis melt into the mat. And let that softness flow down through your legs, thighs, hamstrings, knees, calves, ankles, through the arches of your feet to the tips of your toes. Your legs are relaxed. Let your whole body soak up this feeling like a sponge as you just breathe naturally. Begin to breathe more deeply and direct your breath through your limbs into your fingers and toes. Let them wiggle, wiggle. Expand that movement to wrists, ankles, neck. And then take whatever stretch your back is craving. Maybe that's a long full body stretch with arms overhead. Maybe it's knees to chest again. And then roll to one side, resting your head on an arm. And when you're ready, push up to seated. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.